In our lead story today, Russia thought they wiped out Ukraine's Bradleys. Then this happened. But does Ukraine still have the M2 Bradley after Russia destroyed it? Or did they pull off an incredible salvage operation to repair the damage? The US sent 50 of these armored personnel carriers along with 250,000 rounds of ammo. These are on top of the 200-plus Bradleys that were already being provided by Germany, Spain, Denmark, and the Netherlands. So when the Bradley first arrived in Ukraine, Russian forces were having none of it. They attempted to destroy as many Bradleys as possible with artillery fire and airstrikes. A new report by the War Zone has just shown us the evidence. Here is the same vehicle being towed away for repairs. And here is the same Bradley, fully recovered and back in service. These are not isolated incidents either. We have seen Bradleys that have been completely obliterated by Russian forces, only to see them appear in the field weeks later, fully repaired. This image shows the wreckage of a Bradley that was hit by a Russian Lancet drone. And this image shows the same vehicle fully repaired and operational again. This was when Russia was throwing everything they had at the city, including waves of infantry, tanks, and artillery. Despite the chaos and destruction all around them, the Ukrainians were still able to repair this Bradley and put it back into service. The crew abandoned ship as soon as it was hit, but they were able to retreat to safety. He had previously stated that Russia's goal was to help the people of Donbass, not to occupy Ukraine or destroy its army. On the other hand, Russia has not been able to do the same with its own vehicles. When a Russian vehicle is destroyed, it stays destroyed. And this has led to Russia having to rely on old equipment that is becoming increasingly obsolete. As Ukraine continues to receive military aid from the West, Russia is becoming more and more desperate. It is resorting to using old equipment and tactics that are no longer effective against the Ukrainian army. This is because Russia does not have the industrial capacity to repair and reuse vehicles like Ukraine. Ukraine's success will depend on a number of factors, including its ability to defend itself against Russian aggression, its ability to reform and rebuild its military, and its ability to receive military aid from the West. Ukraine is set to continue receiving military aid from the West in the near future. This includes more Bradleys, Challengers, and Leopards. Russia, on the other hand, is not likely to get any new equipment anytime soon due to sanctions. This is also a clear example of how Russia is losing the battle of attrition against Ukraine. It may resort to using even older and more ineffective equipment. This will only lead to more losses for Russia and make it harder for them to achieve their goals in Ukraine. Only time will tell which way the balance of power will tip. What's amazing about this recovery is that it was done in less than a month. I cover all aspects of the war, including military tactics, strategy, and equipment. I also cover the political and economic aspects of the war. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates. The first is that Russia simply made a mistake, and these vehicles were never destroyed in the first place. This aid has come in the form of weapons, ammunition, and training. All of this is contributing to Russia's inability to achieve its goals in Ukraine. The second explanation is that Ukraine has developed a robust repair and maintenance program for the Bradley. The country has also received and built up a large arsenal of other vehicles, including the Patriot air defense system, the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, or HIMARS, the Challenger tank, and the Leopard tank. All of these vehicles have helped Ukraine to defend itself against Russia and have been instrumental in repelling the Russian invasion. If that's the case, then it's a testament to the training and skill of the Ukrainian people. Usually, repairing vehicles like this takes a lot longer, but this was no ordinary Bradley. It was a recovery vehicle equipped with a crane and a plow. These vehicles are essential for any mechanized army, because they can recover disabled vehicles and clear obstacles from the battlefield. The Bradley had its tracks blown off, and its entire right side was damaged beyond recognition. Yet it was still operational enough to move under its own power and was seen being towed away for repairs. This was so important to Russia because they knew once Ukrainian infantry started riding inside these bad boys, it would make their ground assault operations much easier and more effective. The total number of Bradleys to be delivered to Ukraine is now up to 600. And what does this mean for the battle of attrition between Ukraine and Russia? It was announced that Ukraine would be receiving the American-made M2 Bradley fighting vehicles from the United States and a few European countries. But why is the Bradley such a big deal? It is considered one of the best infantry fighting vehicles in the world for good reason. It is an all-terrain, day or night capable behemoth that can transport infantry into battle. It has a powerful 25mm Bushmaster autocannon, anti-tank missiles, and an incredible armor protection system. In fact, Russia believes they destroyed 32 of them. According to a Russian source, they claimed that 4 brigades worth of Bradleys were destroyed in the war. That works out to around 32 vehicles. However, we know that only 200 Bradleys have been sent to Ukraine so far. So how could Russia have destroyed 32% of the total number of Bradleys sent to Ukraine? If there are uneven that many to begin with, its range capabilities are outstanding, boasting a maximum range of 31 miles and a turret rotation of 360 degrees. But its primary purpose is as an armored personnel carrier. The U.S. Army has been using the Bradley since the 1980s and has accumulated a lot of experience maintaining and operating the platform. And this is exactly what happened. But there is a problem here. Russia actually managed to destroy a Bradley. So how did Russia manage to wipe out so many Bradleys? Well, the answer is simple. Ukraine salvaged the wreckage and repaired them. But wait, there's more. There are multiple images showing various stages of repairs for different Bradleys. We see the mangled remains of another Bradley. The most recent example is this Bradley that was hit in the Donetsk region at the end of May. Then about a month later, this Bradley appears in the field again, completely repaired and ready to go. There are 2 explanations for this recovery. What's even more impressive is that this recovery took place during the height of the Battle of Bakhmut. This is a clear violation of Russian President Vladimir Putin's special military operation. Ukraine has been able to repair and reuse Bradley fighting vehicles that have been completely destroyed by Russian forces. Russia is slowly losing its technological edge over Ukraine. Its equipment is becoming obsolete, and its tactics are becoming predictable. Now, let's take a look at the bigger picture. The Bradley is an important piece of equipment for Ukraine, but it is not the only one. In addition to these vehicles, Ukraine has also received military aid from a number of countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany, and Turkey. On the other hand, Russia has not been able to get any new equipment into Ukraine. Because of sanctions imposed by the West, the battle of attrition between Ukraine and Russia is heating up. Now let's take a look at the future. As the battle of attrition continues, it is likely that Russia will become more and more desperate. Overall, the Bradley is an important piece of equipment for Ukraine. But it is not the only thing that will determine the outcome of the war. Meanwhile, Russia's success will depend on its ability to achieve its goals in Ukraine. Despite sanctions and its ability to avoid a prolonged war of attrition, if you enjoyed this video, check out my other videos on the fight between Ukraine and Russia.